Guitars are often associated with the people who play them. There are lots of music videos, movies, and video games that depict people playing the guitar. It is considered admirable to be good at playing the guitar, to master it. And this makes sense, you know, guitars are machines built by humans for the purpose of playing music. People love to express themselves, and playing the guitar is a pretty awesome way of expressing yourself. But what would guitars sound like if they were independent from humans? What if guitars were less like machines and more like wild animals? Life Metal is an album that I think tries to answer this question. It is the 8th studio album by the drone metal band Sunn. This band is well known for creating unique atmospheres with guitars. Many of the things that we usually associate with the guitar, like percussion or melody, are not in Sunn's music. Instead, they like to treat their guitars kind of like white noise machines. They will play a chord and let that chord ring out for a really long time, and it's all about the little electric distortions in the sound. Sometimes we don't even hear the chords themselves, we just hear an endless mind-numbing vibration accompanied by industrial sounds like a jackhammer. What's also missing from Sunn's music is the guitar solo, the very physical and expressive performance of a guitar player showing how well they can play their instrument. When Sunn perform, they wear robes and fill the room with smoke. It's less about a specific person playing the guitar. This is all to say that Sunn's entire career has existed outside of the common narrative of the guitar, and Life Metal is also pushing that envelope. I think the instrumentation on Life Metal is very simple compared to Sunn's other albums. What I mean by that is that this album never strays too far from just strumming the guitar, letting it play out, and then strumming the guitar again. There are other instruments in the background, like the pipe organ, cello, and vocals, but there's no distortion to anything. It very much feels like a live performance. This is in part because, unlike Sunn's other albums, Life Metal is a completely analog production. It was recorded and mixed to tape, without any digital manipulation done to it in a computer. What we are hearing is essentially what they played. This analog production also has the benefit of making the guitars feel very heavy and tactile. It's like guitar ASMR, and that's not something that I can say for Sunn's other albums. I feel like while other Sunn albums are about using guitars to create an emotion, Life Metal is purely about listening to the guitar and feeling the power of it. I can't say I feel many emotions besides amazement at what I'm hearing. Also, Life Metal can be kind of unpredictable because there's no rhythm, or if there is a rhythm, it's very slow, and difficult to make out because there's no bass line or percussion. Each chord lasts for an indiscernible amount of time, and then it's on to the next seemingly random chord. The thing is, this really does make me think of nature and wild animals. It sounds like something that's intelligent but not human, something that's not concerned with the typical structure of guitar music. I'm reminded of a fish swimming in an aquarium, or a cheetah looking for its next meal. I have no way of knowing which direction the cheetah is going to go next. I'm held in suspense the entire time. Also, there's so much emphasis put onto the strumming of the guitar that each time it happens, it feels like a decision, but not necessarily one that a human would make. Like, yes, these are guitars, but they're not trying to make sounds that would be appealing to humans. If they were, I would be listening to AC/DC's Back in Black or Olivia Rodrigo's Good For You. No, the guitars on Life Metal are a lot more wild than that. Another metaphor would be a Piranesi sketch. You know, similar to Piranesi's work, Life Metal just exists in a universe of infinitely regenerating guitar music, so vast that a human couldn't understand it. Now, the band members of Sunn, Greg Anderson and Stephen O'Malley, have actually explained what they mean by the title Life Metal. Life Metal was an inside joke among them where whenever something positive was going on in their lives, they would say, "I'm doing some life metal." During the making of this album, Greg Anderson and Stephen O'Malley were more content with their lives, and they wanted to make music that reflected that. They wanted to make drone metal that was more positive and uplifting. So to them, the word life in Life Metal means optimism, creative fulfillment. But to me, these guitars sound alive, and I like to think that Life Metal refers to that. Life meaning intelligence, nature, the animal kingdom. Okay, now for the rest of this video, I would like to talk about some small things this album does to demonstrate life that are a bit more obvious than what I've already talked about. For instance, the song Between Sleipnir's Breaths. Sleipnir is Odin's 8-legged horse that appears in Norse mythology and Icelandic folklore. Sleipnir is incredibly powerful. They can travel across water and jump incredibly high. At the beginning of Between Sleipnir's Breaths, which is also the beginning of the entire album, we hear the sounds of a horse. Well, it sounds like a lot of horses, but given the fact that Sleipnir has 8 legs, we can assume it's just the one horse. After this, the guitars kick in, and the heavy droning of these guitars doesn't sound all that different than the galloping of an 8-legged horse. They are paralleled with each other, and thus the guitars are imbued with life. I think it's interesting that Sunn chose to open this album with the sounds of a horse. You know, horses are animals that are known for being both wild and tame, and we can describe guitars in the same way. Life metal also parallels guitars with humans on the song Aurora. Aurora is one of 2 songs on life metal that feature vocals from Icelandic musician Hildur Guðnadóttir, who also composed the Joker and Tar soundtracks. On this song, we can hear her harmonizing along with the guitar. Guðnadóttir is behaving more like a musical instrument than a vocalist here. She's singing one long note after another, like what the guitars are doing. It's like she's having a conversation with them, a duet if you will. Just a quick side note, Guðnadóttir also sings on Between Sleipnir's Breaths. Between Sleipnir's Breaths is actually the only song on the album that has lyrics, and it's actually kind of a creepy vibe because the vocals are so quiet, like ASMR level, and then the guitars are so loud, and then you hear these 2 sounds together. It seems like an impossible situation, like I shouldn't be able to hear these 2 sounds together in real life. Anyway, the last thing I want to talk about is the song Nove. To be honest, I think this is my favorite song on the entire album. It's such a long song, and there are so many different passages, I feel like I'm getting lost in the music. But for our purposes, what's notable is a section towards the end of the song, in which what I believe is a pipe organ plays a single note for like 7 minutes. It sounds very mechanical, you know? There's some repetition there, which implies something more than just ambience. And yes, that repetition is because someone is actually playing a note, but it could just as easily be a creature existing somewhere, trying to reach its destination. You know, we don't normally hear pipe organs in this context. Usually the pipe organ is part of some massive orchestra or accompanying some movie protagonist on a journey. To hear it by itself is quite humbling. And I think that's what life metal accomplishes so well. It takes these instruments that we've heard so many times before, and it makes them sound unpredictable and alive. And that's pretty much all I have to say about this. Thanks for watching.